projects. Basically, Utxodao is a new DAO that is trying to find like a new segment in the ecosystem. So we believe that forks from Olympus have one big problem, which is the stable coin that they have in their treasury. So stable coins are connected with US dollar, so they are somehow subjected to lose value over time. We are a group of Bitcoiners that have a strong belief that Bitcoin as an asset class will outperform US dollar and fiat money. So we came up with this idea to create a DAO that will have only Bitcoin in its treasury. Eslit, I don't know if you want to add something.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was having issue with my audio here, so I missed the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Sound perfect.
So I missed the question.
Yeah, no, I was just giving like a small introduction of Utxodao. If you want to maybe say something as well, give an introduction.
No, absolutely. So we came up with the idea after we've been in the crypto market for quite some years now, very closely involved in many evolution. So we've been part of the evolution of the market, right? So recently there has been this innovation made by Olympus DAO with DeFi 2.0 protocol on liquidity, which we found quite interesting on a high level, but much more interesting when we went deep into the topic and started to research and really understand the underlying concept, right? So after that, we thought, why not to have Bitcoin in the treasury instead of stablecoin? So cryptocurrency is all about going against the status quo, and Bitcoin is all about that. It's about decentralization. It's about being permissionless. It's about being inclusive, and that's what we value. That's what brought us to Bitcoin in the first place. We, the founders of Utxodao, and that's what made us think that we can do better by having Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin is more volatile than stable coins. That's clear. However, we are here for the long run, and we do really believe that Bitcoin is gonna thrive in the long run. Therefore, our treasury can benefit along with Bitcoin. Right? So that's how we came up with the idea for Utxodao, and we are here to answer your questions. So thank you very much for joining, and we look forward to what you want to know from us.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Cool. So I guess we'll just jump right in to just some questions that we had the team had, and then we'll open it up. But what is your current opinions on the state of the market in terms of the recent success or lack of DAOs in general, and how do you guys plan to stand out aside from just your the whole concept, other than the core concept itself?
Absolutely. So what we've seen lately is obviously the DAO. The number of DAOs out there is growing by the day. All sorts of different value propositions, but if you look closely, we all think they are very much similar. So they're really forking Olympus, but not bringing innovation to the ecosystem, and that's exactly where we want to stand out. So obviously, we are forking Olympus DAO contracts. However, we are bringing a lot of innovation to the ecosystem. First of all, we will have Bitcoin only in the treasury, so we are not aware of any other DAO with this value proposition, especially on the on forks arena, right? So that's the number one innovation we're bringing to the system, to the ecosystem, and that has a lot of challenges that come along, right? Because obviously, when you're budgeting with stablecoin treasury, you can look a 1 year ahead and have a rough estimation of what the treasury look like. When we are dealing here with Utxodao and Bitcoin, it's uh, much more harder to do this forecast, and we are gonna implement very new macroeconomic policies to manage the treasury in a way that we don't have any other DAO out there to compare with us. We are really being pioneers in this arena, and we have obviously spent a great amount of time coming up with the concept and how we will do it.
Awesome. That's
I do.
super
If I
exciting.
might add also something here, I think, as I said, like we are seeing a number of DAO popping up on a daily basis, and for us, the concept of DAO is not only to offer a unique product, but it's also like about the community. So we really need to think about a DAO as an entity which going to be in charge of the treasury that we are building. So building strong fundamental around the community, identify like key talents that are going to contribute with us to the success of the project is key. And I mean, we as a founder, of course, we are here at the beginning, but the idea is that once the DAO will be fully live, it's going to be up to the community to move forward and to bring the success of the project forward.
Absolutely, that's very important, right? Because as we said, we are bringing to the DAO the core values of Bitcoin, so decentralization, permissionless, and distributed. That's also one of the reasons why we're letting the whole server participate in the pre-sale. It's because we want to be distributed as it should be. We don't want to have whales, or we obviously we cannot control that after we go full live, but we want to make it as distributed as possible, especially here in the beginning, because as Alf Tom said, we obviously the founders are playing a role here to implement the culture of the DAO, but at some point in time, the DAO will run by itself, by its members, and the founders will not have an active influence on where the DAO is heading, right? So we are creating the DAO, putting it out there, but we will make it distributed, decentralized, and self-governing. So that's very important to us.
Gotcha. And I love how that philosophy, it's very much entrenched into your, like you said, into your core values. Just the inherent philosophies of Bitcoin are being implemented. I think that's really, really cool to see how it's like consistent throughout. So speaking of that consistency, how will the protocol use the treasury other than to just support that backing price? Is there another way other than holding Bitcoin? Will it be investing in more interest-bearing assets? Like I think when we talked previously, you mentioned into certain liquidity pools, but how is that going to be played out in terms of treasury allocation? And
Absolutely. So obviously we will start with Raft Bitcoin. That's the most easily accessible version of Bitcoin in the smart contract arena. But we have already plans to launch RMBTC very soon. And then there's many ways that we can put our treasury to work. As I said, we are going to be a DAO, so it's not about the founders making decisions. We, the founders, will bring the ideas, to the community. We will make proposals, and the DAO will be able to vote. So among the possibilities that we have for the treasury, we can, for example, lend in protocols such as Aave. We can, for example, couple our ref Bitcoin with our RAM BTC and be a liquidity provider in this curve pool for BTC. So we can earn additional interest for the treasury by doing that. We can also, why not, develop an option strategy where we will basically uh, buy puts or sell puts depending on the market to basically assure the value of our treasury in the long run. There are several things that we can do with the Bitcoin our treasury. Obviously, it's up to the DAO to make the final vote. And we can also have many different new ideas that will come up from bottom up in the organization, and then we will put up in proposals and put it to a vote. So right now, our goal is to obviously start slow with Wrap Bitcoin and then RAM BTC, and then we're gonna when we build a treasury which uh, sizable enough, we have many different ideas on how to generate income from that, which will be ultimately decided by the DAO.
And it will be
You guys, at this early stage, you guys, I'm saying you are a DAO or want to become a DAO. At this early stage, how you guys are integrating the opinion of the community that you already have build in Discord and the media. Are you taking in place whatever is in thoughts about the community?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Of course, at this stage, we need to rely on Discord mainly to listen the community. And I mean, we took a very interesting approach with the ambassador program, which is not only a way to identify key talents that will at some point join also the core team, but it's also like to create a leadership that will support the founders in listening the requirement of the community and really like taking a proactive approach. But overall, like we are, I mean, I think everyone who is on our Discord server noticed that we are really open. We open like a suggestion channel, so we tend to listen everyone that coming with an idea, and if possible, we try to implement it.
Absolutely, that's really good to know because it's all about community at this stage, right? And that's just great to know.
It's also very rare with other DAOs, so that's so great to hear, honestly.
Yes.
So one thing, absolutely. Just to complement here on this. So we are really innovating with the ambassadors program in the DAO arena. This is something that's relatively common in other ecosystems, but for us, it's really key to identify the leadership among the community, especially regional leadership, so people that are multi-language, and especially people that are involved in communities which are not necessarily familiar or keen to interact in English, and that's very important because we are multicultural, inclusive DAO, and it's important that everyone can have access to our message. And the ambassador program makes exactly for that, to identify key leadership and that could also participate in regional communities, spread the word, get suggestions, and in the end of the day, make it a proposal and put to a vote what's good or what's not for the DAO.
Awesome. So one of the things that we were talking about prior to this AMA amongst the leadership team here was the number one risk for you guys. Obviously, is the sole exposure to Bitcoin. So what would happen and what risks are you guys using to mitigate if, let's say, a flash crash of Bitcoin were to happen, or something along those lines?
So to start with, we have a long-term goal for the protocol to keep runway days above a year. We cannot 100% guarantee from day one because it depends on how much we raise in both our pre-sales and private public sales, and then we can start planning, for example, the APY and then the growth phase of the protocol. However, our long-term commitment and goal is to keep it above 1 year, which means that we will always be enough funded to cover the inflation of the protocol for the next year, which means that our backing is going to be much higher than the original $1 worth in Bitcoin. On top of that, we will be marking down the Bitcoin price to calculate our kind of risk-free treasury. So basically, you pick up the spot Bitcoin price, you mark it down to consider this exactly flash crashes. So the whole protocol functions in the premise that in the long run, Bitcoin will thrive. That's a premise to our model. So if you don't think Bitcoin is going to thrive in the long term, then maybe Utxodao is not the investment for you or the community for you. But if you also agree with us that in the long run Bitcoin will thrive against fiat currency, then UTXO is definitely something to look closer, right? Because our policy is made to survive short-term crashes without having an impact on the protocol. So then we can thrive them when on the long run. So that's really our philosophy. So have a policy that's resilient to short-term crashes to thrive in the long run.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask a more interesting question that's more, Alpha Society related. So if you know about our project, we look into any type of project that we find interesting, do a write-up on that. But what we usually show in our scorecards is the risk meter, and kind of depending on how risky that asset is to someone who doesn't know anything about it, like, is it worth looking into, for instance. So that's the kind of result we try to provide. So I guess I'd like to just go down the list for you guys, and I already know some of these answers, but kind of wanted, maybe you to touch on it more. So for the first one, for KYC, I know we talked about this before, and it's kind of in the, core values of Bitcoin to stay not anonymous per se, but not to necessarily like dox yourself. Is this kind of the same theme we're going to stick with?
Yes, absolutely. So for us, it's important to keep the DAO faceless for several reasons. To start with, the founding team has been working in the crypto industry with high-profile jobs where this could be, for example, a conflict with the core role there. But primarily, our main concern here is that uh, we're here building something large. We want to have a super large Bitcoin treasury, something that would really draw attention from governments. And for the DAO, it's not nice if the government knows exactly where to knock, especially, for example, when we have a multi-sig setup and they know exactly where to knock and pick up the several keys for the wallets. It's really not beneficial for the DAO in the long run. It might give a boost in confidence in the beginning, but for the long run, it's really, we don't think it's beneficial to have doxed founders such as Bitcoin. So it's a matter of philosophical question if Bitcoin would still be where it is if the U.S. government, for example, would know or any other government would know who is Satoshi, right? It's obviously we don't have an answer for that, and we don't need to go too deep into that. But in our point of view, it's all about building a DAO that's resilient in the long term when I'm gone, when Alftom is gone, and something that can continue without us. So it's really important to keep it faceless for the time being. Another reason not to KYC security to make investors confident that we are not here to rug pull or to do anything malicious. We are very serious people, and we are building something very serious, and it's very important to us also on a personal level because we want to give back to the Bitcoin community. So we are really trying to build something here. We are taking very serious and careful steps to make it happen without the need to show our faces to the crowd. And Elfton, do you have something to add?
No, I will agree with you. I'm sure it will be the next question, but basically, in code we trust, and we want to show our security measure that we are putting in place through the code that our community can verify by themselves.
Gotcha. And you mentioned, but that kind of relates into the next question, which was about auditing and if that's on the agenda looking forward.
It is actually. It will probably be announced in the next few hours. We're in discussion with a well-known crypto influencer, very serious person who did excellent review and multi-sig on other projects. So this is something that it will be announced probably in the next few hours.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
Absolutely. And this is a code review that we are doing for the pre-sale. But when we launch the platform, the finalized contract that's going to run the finalized contracts that are going to run the treasury, etc. We will do a proper audit, a really proper one. So as we said, it's really key to us to build trust among our users, and we're going to take every single security step besides showing our faces. But as per previous discussed, we also think that long term that's to the benefit, that's a beneficial to the DAO to be faceless.
Awesome. We obviously talked about roadmap already, and you stressed the community aspect. And I think for you guys, the use case is interesting because it's kind of deriving a value for Bitcoin in terms of, creating, essentially just your whole project. So I think you kind of answered all my questions I had. So I know we brought up Toucan, who is another member of our team who had a bunch of his own questions. So I'm going to pass it off to him.
So hello everyone. Hello. Sorry. Hello Tom. Hello Ashley. Hello everyone. Everyone. Welcome to the. I'm gonna ask the questions. So one thing that I didn't understand was
We can barely hear you. I don't know if it's me.
hello. Can you hear me now? Is
Yeah.
it good?
Really low.
Still pretty
Is
quiet.
it better? Okay.
Yeah, it's really low.
Oh, wait. Hello. Is it better now?
That's much better.
Okay. Perfect. So, what? So, what are the what are the first 3 milestones that you need to achieve in order for you to consider yourselves as a successful project?
Do you want to take it?
I can start with the first milestone is obviously successfully completing our pre-sale and public sale. That's absolutely the first milestone. So to show off to the world that we are a serious project that has the interest of the community. And then the second milestone would be to have a successful launch and achieve our protocol targets, like for a healthy so to have a health protocol. So with the metrics that we established. So for example, So, for example, having the runway days above 1 year, that's a key milestone for us. So, the second milestone is really have a successful launch of the platform. And the third milestone is absolutely becoming fully decentralized and run as a DAO, via snapshot and having the community making the decisions of the protocol.
Yeah, fully agree with Aslit. I would say the first milestone, so to have a successful private and public sale, is actually pretty easy, in the sense that we saw a lot of projects achieving that. What is actually challenging, and not a lot of DAOs succeed with that, is making the policy sustainable on the long term and really reach a fully decentralized level where the founders are, of course, still there, but the community is in charge of every aspect of the project. I think these are, at least for me, the most important goals.
Perfect. I do have several questions with what you guys said right there, because I might have missed it before, but when you talked about your policies, is that the same policy of thinking long term and creating the protocol so that it will survive during the first years and survive and thrive during the first year of it, or is it something else?
Oh, we're thinking here really long term. Obviously, in the beginning, we go through a growth phase. The API will be higher, but obviously, the more you add in the supply, uh, the more high API adds in terms of the need of backing. So obviously, the API curve it's decreasing over time. That's normal from as seen in many other DAOs, but we are really building an API curve that focus on benefiting stakers and long-term believers rather than benefiting short-term flippers. So our policies are really focused on the long term and focusing on benefiting long-term participants of the DAO. So everything will be done in a way that we will have the interest of the stakers over any other participant in the protocol.
All right, so I just want to bring one thing up real quick. If anybody has questions, they don't have a microphone, could you type them in the UTXO question area? I'm going to send that to the team, and hopefully we can get responses to that in text form, and I can release it with this AMA. That way we can get all the questions answered. They probably don't have time to answer everything. Also, if you do have a mic and you want to speak to a question that has not already been answered, go ahead and put your hand up, and I'll bring you up here, and that way you can ask the team directly.
Max, you're next. Max 3518, you're next. I see you. If somebody else has to or wants to do a question, just raise your hand. Yep.
All right, so I just invited you. Here we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, really clear.
I guess.
Welcome, Max.
Yeah, thank you, man. I guess you already answered my NFT question, but how will you sustain or increase the amount of people involvement of this project after launch? Like, what kind of policy or incentivizing or way to incentivize people to stick to the project long term? Do you have any idea to do that? And another question, if I may, are you going to allow VCs to invest?
So we can get one at a time, Max, so they can get the time to answer one first. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can answer that. Of course, now we're focused to deliver more details about our pre-sale. That's the first milestone, and then of course the goal is to really start an aggressive but organic growth. And for us, I think the most successful way to achieve that is actually to collaborate with other community and other DAO. the way that we foresee the success of Utxodao is that it will operate together with other decentralized organization and other crypto community worldwide, and for us, like this, creating this ecosystem. And I think we started a few days ago with Le Templaire, which is a very popular crypto community in France, where we not only get users coming to our Discord, but we really get also a contribution, an active contribution from a community. So we want to continue with this strategy, so to build relation and partnership with other DAOs and crypto communities.
If I also may add to that, well, until this point in time, we have spent zero money, 0 cents in paid traffic, so paid advertisement. So all our growth to date has been purely organic, and we want to keep it like that for sure, at least until the pre-sale is completed, because we want to give an opportunity to the real contributors to the ecosystem to buy at a pre-sale. After that, we will discuss also among our ambassadors and the community in general. We will discuss about new marketing strategies in between the pre-sale and public sale. We definitely want to be more aggressive in this stage. But we really trying to go through organic growth at this point in time, through partnerships that are not only about shilling us out there, but it's about really, it's a two-way street where we can contribute users to our partners, and we can get users that contribute to our DAO. So it's really about long-term good partnerships that will make those partners thrive. And we are also, at this point in time, we haven't received any sort of VC investment. We will, if we obviously will be open to discuss possibilities, but with community in mind, and also being very transparent to the community. So at this point in time, we have not received any VC fund, and in case it changes, we will obviously make it clear to the community, transparent. But we are right now focusing on organic growth. So we have not received any sort of VC investment.
Okay. I think
Max, you want to go ahead and ask your second question?
Sorry?
You want to go ahead and ask your second question?
Yeah, are you going to allow these VCs to invest, or are they going to have to buy when the market launch, when you launch your plans?
As we said, we currently have not received any VC investment, and we don't have any terms on our table to tell you about any kind of VC investment. At this point in time, there's no VC investments made, but obviously everyone, including the founders, will always have to pay for the UTXO tokens. The founders would be investing in an option contract, similar to, for example, what OM did with the POM token. But every single UTXO minted will never be airdropped. So there's not going to be a single airdrop. No one's getting a single UTXO for free. That's very clear that every UTXO that's going to be minted by our treasury will have to be backed up in our treasury.
All right, thank you for answering that. I'm going to go ahead and read some of the questions that are in the UTXO question area so we can get answers to them. I'll try to skip over any ones that I think you guys already answered. If that works for the team, do you guys still have time for that?
Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
All right, so the first one is from KDA. I would like to know if you are planning, or at least thinking about, expanding the project into the metaverse in the future in any way.
I can take that. I think the answer is yes. We are, of course, talking about different options to expand our DAO, and however, at this stage, we really want to focus on the core principle and trying to build something which will then be able to take this decision autonomously. So the founders here are just here to make some core basic fundamental decisions, but then the way that the DAO will evolve eventually also in the metaverse will then be up to the DAO and the community to decide.
That's a very key point. Obviously, we are building. We are building here a decentralized currency, and as such, we are always open to find new ways to use our currency, to add value to our currency, to add use cases to our currency. And the crypto market is definitely not static. It evolves, and it evolves very fast. And obviously, we're not building something here to be stuck in time. We're building something that will evolve together with the market. And it will, we obviously will be open for use cases that we don't even know yet. We don't know where the market's going. It's part of the journey, and we will definitely evolve along with it as well. As we plan to use part of our treasury to fund Bitcoin development. There's been some cases lately of developers which basically quit the Bitcoin Core development group because they were not funded enough, and obviously they have rent to pay, they have bills to pay, and we want to support these developers in a way that Bitcoin also stays relevant through time, because our whole business model relies on Bitcoin being relevant in many years to come. So for that, we want to be able and to be sure that Bitcoin will do so. So for that, we are also helping the Bitcoin developers to work on that.
All right, thank you for that. Some other questions that are in there, I'm going to kind of group them together because there's a lot of questions about future utility for your NFT, as well as roadmaps and things like that. And I'm sure you guys have plans that you maybe haven't fully released out to the community yet. Before launch, or maybe soon after launch, do you guys plan on releasing some kind of a bigger roadmap that kind of issues all these plans out? Is that something you guys have thought about?
Absolutely. The plan, as we said before, is now to focus on the pre-sale, and then to share with the community. And actually, we already started this kind of discussion in our ambassador program to really try to decide together with the community the future for the next months and year. So we will definitely share a more comprehensive roadmap in the next weeks.
Okay, and a follow-up on a prior question. So when Max was up here, he was asking about VC investors, and he clarified his question. What he was asking about specifically is, are you open to VC investors, or are you trying to not cater to them at this point?
I think it's really depends. I mean, from VC investment, we are not only looking at the financial aspect. If a VC would like to invest in Utxodao, needs to bring also something more than money, which at the end is going to benefit the entire community. So the community is always first, so the VC needs to be able also to bring benefits that will impact the community and not only themselves.
All right, I think that's clear.
Absolutely. So in the end of the day, we are open to partnerships, and absolutely, it's not only about money. We will not only take money. So if and it doesn't need to be a VC, but if there is a deal which can benefit long term the protocol, either via marketing or any other actions that can benefit the holders, the stakers, then this will be discussed with the community. But it's again, it's very important to us that it's fully transparent and it benefits the community and the stakers, right? So right now, our only focus on the pre-sale to our users. That's what we have tangible. So we are 100% with our head in the pre-sale for our Discord users.
All right. So, is there any other questions that you guys want to ask? Go ahead and raise your hand right now, and I'll bring you up to stage. You guys can ask those questions. Oh, I saw Jag. Do you still want to come up here? Okay, let me bring you up. Welcome, Jag. Ask your question. Just keep it to one, though. And if you have multiple, you can ask them, but let's stick with one at a time. Are you up, Jag? All right, I'm going to move him back to audience. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he has a connection issue. Does anybody else have questions? I'm reading quite a few in the UTXO question area, but I think some of those I'm going to send to the team and they can answer more specifically when they have some time to do that, and then we'll post it.
Romy is raising his hand. We'll bring him.
All right. So welcome up here, Romy. Ask just one question at a time, please. Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, I've just got one question to ask. Is there any other DAOs that you're currently modeling that you've got your model from, or?
Great question.
Oh, not really. So this really, we're bringing something new to the market. So no other DAO is fully backed by a cryptocurrency, right? All of them that have some cryptocurrencies in the treasury are mostly backed by stablecoins. All of them. The most similar to us, it will be Cayman DAO backed by carbon credits, but at the same time, carbon credits are not anywhere volatile as Bitcoin. So it's also a much different business model, right? So we are bringing something unique and new and very challenging to the ecosystem, which we will absolutely manage very closely, and we are gonna succeed implementing this innovation to the market because in the end of the day, crypto is all about innovation. It's basically seeing what went well, what went wrong, and do better. And that's what we're all about. So we're bringing we're not an own fork. We don't like to be just quoted as an own fork. We are using own contracts to build something completely new. That's what we're doing. So it's key to us to show that we are all about innovation as well.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring Jag up here again and see if he can ask his question. All right, Jag, if you can ask your question.
Yes, guys. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
So main question is that the main concern for any after experiencing a lot of DAO, which have been, we know that a lot of DAOs generally fail expressing themselves as OHM folks, and the roadmap is still not clear. I can see your roadmap is very fine, but the thing is, I want to ask that for me, it is always for other things beside the stable coins. What other liquidity pools you will be able to offer in near future beside that? Second thing is as we know that, are you able to do this in a new way, that partnership with a new DAO project and putting their coins into your treasury, because that is also something a really different concept which hardly any DAO is thinking to perform.
I can quickly take that. So our DAO is not gonna take any stable coins in our treasury. As a matter of fact, we are uh, our concept is all about Bitcoin, right? So our DAO is focused on having Bitcoin uh, backed treasuries or wrapped version of Bitcoins in our treasury. And we are absolutely at this point in time not thinking about adding other DAO coins to our treasury because we really have a concept behind Bitcoin. I cannot say never because it's not my DAO, the DAO is by itself self-governing. So if the DAO decides that we need to diversify the business model and the treasury, it's not up to me to decide. It's a community vote, and we will. So the DAO will evolve as the community sees fit. But for the time being, our concept is 100% focused on Bitcoin, and we will be primarily focusing on exploring new ways to decentralize or like to diversify our treasury among Bitcoin possibilities. So starting with wrapped Bitcoin, and then we will obviously go to RAM Bitcoin, and for example, can provide liquidity on this pool. We can I don't know, convert part of the treasury to real Bitcoin and have on a Bitcoin wallet. We can, for example, in a later future, bridge to RSK and have our BTC in the treasury. There's many different ways that we can reduce the exposure of the treasury in terms of concentration risk in one Bitcoin asset, right? We can distribute it among several versions of wrapped Bitcoin, and that's our initial focus for the protocol. But as I said, I cannot tell you how the DAO will evolve in the future because we are building a DAO. We're not building a company that we own.
Okay. If you guys have time, we can get one more question from Jag, and then we can wrap everything up. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to bring Jag back up. Go ahead, Jag.
So I know that you are very much bullish on Bitcoin, and we all are, because the whole market is generally dependent on that, and altcoins perform according to that. So I will also like it is just I think that from second point of view that if we see the cycle of dominance of Bitcoin as compared to the second dominance which is going with the Ethereum is also improving, like including the wrapped version of Ethereum with the liquidity pool can be a major play because soon 2022 this year is looking more bullish towards Ethereum as well because they will be moving from proof of work to proof of stake, which will also eventually decrease the transaction cost and increase and the coin supply. There will be no minting of any more coins, and there will also be limited number of supply. So I think keeping the second dominant coin in the chart can be also an advantage.
I can take that. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think there are great assets out there beside Bitcoin. However, as Liz said, our DAO is really focused on Bitcoin, and we want to at least from the beginning to really strict with Bitcoin only treasury. I mean, it might change in the future if the DAO decides so, but we see other asset class out there. I mean, Ethereum, you said correctly, but Utxodao is really about Bitcoin.
Absolutely. If I may add to that, so we are not trying to trade the market to have a treasury backed by the asset that will perform the best. We are building the DAO based on the premise that Bitcoin long term will thrive. Obviously, there could be coins that thrive more than Bitcoin in price terms, but we are here focusing on Bitcoin not only because of price action, but it's all about the core concepts of Bitcoin, the values that we bring to the DAO. So Bitcoin is not only about technology. So the most value of Bitcoin, it's in my opinion, it's not the technology anymore. So the value of Bitcoin is a track record of running smooth since 2009. So it's many years out there running smooth, running 24/7, running decentralized, distributed, permissionless, and censorship resistant, and all of the other features that has been super innovative in the world as we see. And we are being backed by Bitcoin because we believe that Bitcoin will continue to have these values, and no other cryptocurrency can ever reach the track record that Bitcoin has. And for us, it's very important. So we are building our protocol based on something that we believe it's very solid and is proven, and it's built to be simple. So for me, the beauty of Bitcoin is that it's built to be simple. It's transferring money from A to B, and it works. So maybe obviously you cannot make a payment in a matter of seconds. Maybe there's scaling solutions that will be able to do that, like the Lightning Network. But the beauty of Bitcoin is that no matter where you are in the world, in 10 minutes you can get your money from A to B, any amount, and no one's asking to see your ID. No one's asking to know about it. No one needs to know. You just go there and do it, and it's gonna be processed. And for us, that's the beauty of Bitcoins. How simple it is. Obviously, it's not simple, right? But it's how simple the concept is and how it works without a centralized entity. And yeah, for us, it's all about having our treasury backed by this type of assets, not about trying to time the market to see which coin will have a higher cash appreciation.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Hazlitt. I put some links into the questions to join their Discord. We're also going to be posting this AMA on our YouTube, and we'll give links to the UTXO team as well so they can also post it. I want to say thank you to everybody who came here to listen. Thanks for the great questions. And most importantly, with what you've heard from this project, go look at UTXO, read their Medium article, look through their documentation, and make a decision if this is something that you're interested in so that you can position yourself and be ready for when they're going to launch. So thanks once again for everybody that's been here. And I think this is the end, unless Tom or Hazlitt wants to add anything else.
Thanks a lot, Alpha Society, for hosting us. It's been a pleasure. And if you have any question, feel free to reach us out on our Discord server. Thanks a lot, friend.
Thank you very much for hosting us. Thank you very much to the hosts and to the audience. If you want to know more about the project, just check our Discord server. Look at the welcome channel with all the information you need to know, and especially I would strongly recommend that you read both of our Medium articles to understand our philosophy, our vision, and what we are trying to achieve here.
Yeah, and we definitely plan on having more AMAs with the UTXO team in the future as new things arise. So stay tuned for that. We'll put announcements in the Alpha Society channel. I'm sure they will also. Thanks, everybody, for being here, and have a good day. Make sure you leave any questions that you want answered later on in that UTXO question area, and we'll submit that to the team. And once we get answers, we'll post them here in our archive of our AMA questions. So thank you, everybody, and have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.